So welcome everybody to this morning's 10th webinar about the CEN-CENELEC Innovation Plan. Like I just said, you will all be muted this morning, so we ask you to enter your questions in the question and answer panel of the GoToWebinar control panel that you can see here on the slide. Should you be on social media, you're always free to tweet or post something about the topic and use the hashtag 1010webinar. Now, let me give the floor to our speakers of today. These are the project managers in Market Perspectives and Innovation Department here at CCMC. Their names are Samira Nick and Luc van den Bergen. Please, guys, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Els. And so the audience will figure out that it's now Luc van den Bergen speaking. The innovation plan, we formally adopted it a year ago at the General Assembly of 2018 June as part of the roadmap to the ambitions 2020. This innovation plan did just not drop from the sky. No, it was the result of two workshops by the administrative boards of CEN-CENELEC, one in October 2017 and then one closer to the adoption April 2018. And since then, so since the approval at the General Assemblies in Bled, I think that the most important milestone since then is that we, after quite some formalities, we agreed on a steering committee for the innovation plan, a steering committee that is only going to look after and coordinate the various actions and is not going to do the work itself. And that steering committee had its first meeting end of May this year. Now, the innovation plan has three main focuses. One of the first focus is to strengthen the relationship between the research and innovation community and the standardization community. So to build together this joint cooperation and do this by, among others, recognizing the contributions from the research and innovation community to standardization. We also want, through the Innovation Action Plan, to ensure that our processes and deliverables are fit for purpose, meeting the needs of the research and innovation community. So it's the second set of main focus. And then the third focus is on ensuring that the fact that standardization supports innovation, supports the market update of innovation and research programs, that this is recognized by the institutions, both national and European. And so these main three focuses break down then into 9 detailed actions. We will take you in this presentation briefly through each of them. Important to note is that this Innovation Action Plan is not a plan for CCMC. It's a plan for its members. So many of the actions are targeted at a national level. So the first set of actions are the actions that relate to this strengthening the relationship between the two communities, research and innovators, and standardizers. And so there are 4 actions that relate to this main objective. First, we want to ensure that collaborations between national bodies and research-intensive organizations, that these are promoted, that these are recognized, that where possible we give those research-intensive organizations some what is called facilitated access to our work and to our standards. And so you see there already an instance that it is an action where we seek to have this collaboration at the national level between research and technology organizations, for instance, and the national bodies. A second action is to ensure that the contributions by researchers, by innovators to standardization, that these are recognized, and this recognition will happen then to annual awards. I come back in a bit more detail later on this. And then the 2 actions at the bottom, this is about spreading the good news, spreading the news that standardization indeed is of benefit to the research and innovation community. So by information sessions and by also producing and promoting success stories. For these two latter actions, we will build on inputs from the Bridget 2 project, a project on which my colleague Samira will say some extra things later on. And the awards for the individual researchers, there we will be offering or having the first celebration party at or a meeting that we are organizing here, 13th of November in Brussels, a big conference, also closing conference of Bridget 2. Again, Samira will say something extra. Last slide before I pass to Samira is about the Innovation Awards. We were thinking of having 3 awards. First award is an award given to European projects which have successfully addressed standardization as part of their project. We are looking here for projects at the European level at this stage. Second award is to an individual who has been contributing successfully to ensuring this better interaction, this more successful interaction between research, innovation, and standardization. And for this one, we do not necessarily only look at technical contributions. So, for instance, a researcher, innovator who has been contributing to a specific technical standard, but we also would open this award to somebody who has been of special value to the overall ecosystem. So where the ecosystem of having standards recognized more broadly as supportive of the market update of innovations. So as said, this will be given at a short ceremony at the conference here in November. And then the third award is in fact to be part of the biannual pin ceremony to technical body officers. So here we were thinking of chairmen or secretaries or conveners of groups or standardization groups who have by some action given specific support, a specific facilitation to ensuring this better link between them as a standardization community and then research projects, innovation projects. So these are the 3 awards that we intend to start having in the future. 2 of them which will be handed over so at the conference here in Brussels. So I now pass to my colleague Samira.
Hi everyone, this is Samira. Thank you, Luc. So I would briefly talk about Bridget 2, the project that is connected directly for bridging the gap between the standardization and research and innovation communities. So this project has started on December 2017 and it will end in February 2020. It is a project that we have 10 national members. Dean from Germany, AFNOR France, Aussie Austria, Astro Romania, BDS Bulgaria, DS Denmark, Netherlands, and NSI Ireland, UNE Spain, and UNI Italy, together with CCMC. And Dean is coordinating this project. So the main focus of this project is to connect to the research and innovation community and make sure that we understand their needs about standardization and we help them to reach the market with facilitating the standardization possibilities and guiding them to get what they need for their new innovations or research project or program. And in this project, we are directly linking 2 of the aspects of Innovation Action Plan, which are the success stories and benefits of the standardization. Success stories, we mean that we are seeking for projects and programs that have already been involved in the standardization and could reach the market, and standardization helps them to boost their actually involvement in the market. And also benefits of the standardization is also like we are highlighting what can they get by using standardization that they didn't reach without it. So it's very much in line with our innovation action plan and also recognition of the researchers and innovators who are helping standardization. So to put together all of this, just 3 months before the project ends, we have this large European conference that Luc mentioned previously, and we call it Boosting Innovation Through Standards, with the tagline of Your Gateway to the Market. This is a large event, one-day event in Brussels on November 13th, and we are aiming to have 350 participants from different stakeholders, from policymakers, standardizers, researchers, innovators, and national contact points to put together everyone to have a large networking possibility, to introduce the possibilities and the different deliverables and tools that we have to support as standardizers, to support the innovation and research communities. So this will be an interesting day. And also we will receive some guidelines from the policymakers, from the European Commission. And the registration for this event is open, and you can find more information on our webpage, on the CEN-CENELEC webpage as well, that will guide you directly to the webpage of the conference. So now we are going to action 5 and 6 of the innovation action plan. And these two actions are focusing on developing the best practice to how to involve the research consortia, and also developing and making available the fast track process. So these are the ways that we would like to help the research and innovators to get what they need in a more appealing way. Basically, we are looking for their needs and trying to help them to get a faster reach to the market by using special deliverables that we have, mainly CEN workshop agreement or CWA, or a technical report. So in this aspect, we are helping to shrink basically the time that you need to do standardization. And an example of that is the project that we are working now with is STAIR for Security. It's a project that is covering the security needs for standardization. This also is a project that we have members, AFNOR, ASI, DIN, and CIS involved, and AFNOR and DIN are actually taking the lead for the objective 2 that you can see in this slide. Is the work package 3 of this project that is focusing on the CWA process and thinking about the aspects that can be improved or changed to have it more suitable for the needs of security sector. And for this work package, we are trying to get the input from the researchers, innovators, practitioners, and understand what do they want to change and what do they think that is missing in these processes. Just to give you a brief idea about what is this project totally about, it's on objective 1, you see it's a security information exchange platform. So the aim is to make a single entry platform for all European security related projects who that needs standardization, or they are already having a standardization. So put everything together and have access to it to have better and more coherent reaction in the time of disaster. Mainly, it's covering the disaster resilience, CBRNE, and so it doesn't cover the ICT security, but the other social security and disaster topics. I think by that I will give the floor back to Luc.
Okay, in relation to these actions on the fast track, the information is so that Karl Grün, member of the steering committee of the innovation plan, will take the lead, and the national members will receive an invitation to contribute to the overall discussion after the summer break, and it's still up for debate and discussion whether there will be small changes and tweaking a bit here and there, or whether something completely new will be proposed. So we wait to see the outcome of those discussions. Then coming then to the recognition and support by the institutions, influencing the FP9, so the Horizon Europe tenders, influence also the projects, so that projects include a work package on standardization within their work, and then finally to ensure that there is some at the national level some influence to the policymaker there, so that contributions of researchers to standardization can also benefit to the career of that researcher. First, I want to point out that these things are not that new. I found back 2008 the Council conclusions on standardization and innovation, where there was already this recommendation that the funding entities should look at the interest in developing standards in order to exploit the results obtained from those projects. Standardizers were invited already then to work closer with the community of researchers and innovators, and also member states were encouraged to take actions to increase the value of participation in standardization activities in the careers of researchers. So this goes back quite some time, and in my opinion it was also why CEN-CENELEC created then in 2009 or had the first meeting of the CEN-CENELEC working group STARE on standardization, research and innovation back in January 2009. We saw then this initial statements to the need to bring together both communities, researchers, innovators and standardizers. We saw this also more explicitly than referred to in the documentation in support of Horizon 2020, where I made here just simply two extracts from the document that lays it all down. So with as well as for the leadership in enabling an industrial technologies pillar, and this explicit reference to standardization, as well as to the societal challenges pillar, again, references to standardization. And of course, this led to quite some expectations on CEN-CENELEC, so because we could expect quite some projects approaching us. So how did CEN-CENELEC prepare? Just an overview. We agreed that CEN-CENELEC participation policy is CEN-CENELEC do not participate as overall organizations, but it's through our members that we participate. We also have then agreed on the concept of project liaisons. So projects can liaise directly with our technical committees. We more recently have agreed on what we call the prepaid download of CEN workshop agreements when they are the result of a research program. So it's possible to download them without having to just only buy them from the member. And also, in order to keep track of, in terms of statistics, we also have the possibility for new work items to record whether they are directly the result of a research project. And here, so I have here the screen dumps of both the CEN and the CENELEC approach. I wonder when it's used. I think it is insufficiently used, and so I would urge the people here from the technical committees that they are aware of this aspect, that this indeed can be recorded in our database, and whether a work item and then the resulting standard relates to a research project. Members have of course benefited from this fact, and that there is this explicit recognition in the Horizon 2020 documentation, and that standards are supportive of the outcomes. And so it led to CEN-CENELEC members having participated in about 100 Horizon 2020 projects so far, with, I admit, the majority of those projects involvement of 3 members, UNE, DIN, and NEN. In terms of, I would say, I would also want to stress here that it does not only, the participation does not only relate to projects that had that were in response to a call that was explicitly mentioning standardization. No, in some cases also our members participate in a project that is in response to a call that did not explicitly mention standardization. Almost 50-50% if you look at that figure, but of course the number of projects that were in response to a call mentioning standardization, there were much fewer calls, so it indeed helps if such a a call refers to standardization in order to have standardization addressed in it. Outputs then into our system. Again, some statistics here, not that recent, but so going back to May last year. And we see that in terms of known standardization results, that the workshop agreement is in fact the most popular deliverable to be delivered by research projects that are including standardization in their work package. And here I would want to ask again that our members are aware of the Guide 29 and do respect the various clauses of the Guide 29. In particular, that they give us, I would say that they give the system enough time to be informed that a new workshop is on its way, so that if needed, technical committee can be consulted on the likelihood that it can start as a workshop. Maybe the technical committee wants to start the project itself, and now we are contacted sometimes rather late, and so it would be good that we get more time in order to react on this. We are now at the end of Horizon 2020. We are close to Horizon Europe now, and again here in the current documentation we again see references to a standardization, and so we expect that in the future again this will lead to I would say continued request for us CEN-CENELEC to support the projects coming under Horizon Europe. But these documents, these clauses, they are still under discussion, so there is the need to continue influencing that indeed these references that are in the draft for the regulation stay in there. I mentioned already this influencing assessment schemes, and I can give here the example of Spain, where I'm aware that at the national level, the contributions of experts to standardization are also there, can be used there in support of researchers' academic careers. And this has led now in UNE that quite some researchers request to receive a certificate of their participation. So this ends me, this is action 9, there were actions, so this brings me to the last slide. What I think are the main messages I wanted to convey. First, emphasis of the innovation plan is on the national level. This is not something for CEN-CENELEC Management Center, this is for all our members. Then the Innovation Awards, I wanted to draw attention to this, and I will respond to some questions later on in relation to this. Horizon Europe, again, we expect that standardization will be relevant for the projects to start under Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe going to start 1st of January 2021. We also, I explained the overall approach that we take in CEN-CENELEC to involve in projects. So the policy, the liaisons, the prepaid download, etc. And for the CEN workshop agreement, I would urge again that the rules as they are presently defined in Guide 29, that they should be known and followed. So that brings me to the end of my contribution.